Are we alone? On Wednesday, NASA held its first ever public hearing surrounding that age-old question. This summer, a panel of 16 scientists will publish their first report on unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UAPs, or, to us common folk, UFOs. Pentagon officials report there have been more than 800 sightings of unidentified objects in the past 27 years, but only 2 to 5% of those are really, quote, anomalous. Joining us is the chair of NASA's UAP Independent Study Team, astrophysicist David Spergel. It's great to have you here with us. Every time that word comes out of my mouth, I feel like I'm going to mangle it.
Which one?
I'm not saying it again.
You did it perfectly.
I can do. This was a 7-month study. What was the big takeaway here?
I think the big takeaway is we need better data. So our job is really not to understand the nature of the events in our report, but to give NASA a roadmap of how it can contribute to our understanding. Now, the military is actually our lead agency in studying these events, because some of the events, like we saw that Chinese balloon a couple months ago, are military and intelligence community issues. But NASA's different. NASA is a citizen agency, and NASA can bring in the scientific method. It could bring in really citizen scientists as well as professional scientists to address this. And what we found is most events are explainable. They're balloons, they're commercial jets, drones, weather phenomenon. But there are some events where we don't have good enough data to see what's going on.
But how do you get it? Because part of why you do this, you've said, is to remove the stigma that commercial and military pilots often feel like they won't be taken seriously if they report something they don't know what it is. How do you get more data? From whom?
I think what we'll end up recommending, and we're still not at our final stage, but for NASA to make use of things like the 3 to 4 billion cell phones we have and develop apps that can record information from your phone. Your phone not only takes good images, of course, gives you your location, it measures sound, it measures gravitational field, it measures the local magnetic field. So you can imagine encrypting all that data and uploading that to websites.
If people voluntarily upload it, right? Because the first thing I think of is major privacy concerns.
People only are going to do this if they see something they don't understand.
And they want to share
And they want to share it.
Do you think it would be my guess, too, that there is a lot of interest in people participating in that?
I think there is. I mean, this question of are we alone is really a fundamental question. I think just people want to understand what's out there. I think that's one of the sources of curiosity, right? You see something you don't understand. You want to figure out what it is. And I think this is an opportunity to engage the public in what we do as scientists. Now, one of the things we do as scientists is we don't always jump to the most exciting conclusion. When we see things we don't understand, we try to get good data. If you can see something, if you take a picture and I take a picture, just by combining those two images, we can figure out the distance to the object. If we take multiple pictures, we can infer its velocity. If 5 or 6 people take pictures, you can verify the quality of the data. One of the problems in some of the data that we see is optical effects inside the camera. If I point my camera in one direction and the sun's over there, I think we've all taken pictures where the sun does really weird things. And you want to have multiple images and verifiable data if you're going to draw interesting conclusions.
And I'm sure that would help prevent against AI being used to create things that aren't really there, which has got to make your job a lot more complicated.
Somewhat more, though. I think one can do things to encrypt and the data on a phone.
You would know a lot more about that than I would. Thank you, David. This is really interesting. We'll continue to track it.